As the two were talking to each other, the Norfolk police officer overheard them talking about how ICE agents are, quote, kidnapping people and they need to do something about it.
Okay, get ready for this one. So a high school assistant principal and his brother have both been arrested for allegedly threatening to cause harm and violence to ICE agents and police officers.
48-year-old George Hernandez is jailed on a terror threat charge. He's accused of inciting participants to members of the law enforcement community.
And while we're here, we might as well talk about this case. George Hernandez has been arrested for allegedly wanting to Homeland Security officers, ICE agents.
A North Carolina native called the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department last week, told officers he's a veteran, and then threatened to kill ICE agents.
And we might as well talk about this case as well. Another case where somebody actually pled guilty to wanting to take out ICE agents as well. So we have a lot to cover. This is becoming a common theme for Homeland Security, but what's also becoming a common theme, people are being arrested for it and put in prison for it. So we're going to cover all of these recent stories. Now, before we start the video, make sure to please like the video. It's the #1 way you guys are helping this channel, and it also helps others see the videos as well. And you're not seeing these cases on the mainstream media, so make sure to get the videos out so people know that this is actually happening. This is a very real threat.
Two brothers have been arrested, charged with threatening to police and ICE agents, and one of them is an assistant principal at Kempsville High School. Yesterday, Beach Police arrested 54-year-old John Bennett. School officials say he's currently on leave from his position there.
I would hope so.
The other suspect is 59-year-old Mark Bennett. Court documents reveal several disturbing details about this investigation.
Okay, so here's where things get interesting, and this is why this case really stands out to me. How many times have we heard a protester or maybe even a lawmaker make a statement about ICE agents that might be very questionable, maybe even illegal, and nothing ever seems to happen? Well, something actually happened here.
Court documents reveal that the brothers were overheard talking at a restaurant where Mark Bennett mentioned how he had an assault rifle with the ability to utilize explosive rounds that could penetrate protective vests. He also mentioned flying to Las Vegas to meet with like-minded people and how he would return with, quote, enforcement ideas and plans.
I wish we knew what he meant by like-minded people. People who hate ICE? People who want to cause terror within the United States? I have no idea, but it's just something that stood out to me.
The documents went on to state that John Bennett added statements of support and enthusiasm for the suggested violence and also expressed interest in joining his brother on the trip to Vegas. Now, both brothers were arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit malicious wounding.
Yeah, so I think it's safe to say they're going to be in some pretty big trouble if found guilty. And I will definitely be paying attention to this case, so make sure to please subscribe to my channel because I want to make sure we don't miss a thing with this and the other cases we're going to be talking about. And by the way, if you do see the QR code, that's for people watching TV. Take out your cell phone, scan the QR code. That's an easier way to subscribe to me as well. Let's continue.
When a social media post encouraged people to take to the streets Monday night to protest a law enforcement raid, investigators say one man did more than complain online. 48-year-old George Hernandez is jailed on a terror threat charge. He's accused of inciting participants to members of the law enforcement community.
Okay, so just to clear up some confusion, the law enforcement community involved ICE agents. Now, if you are unaware, over the weekend in San Antonio, FBI reveals task force as over 140 people taken into ICE custody in San Antonio. Now, on my channel, we have not been covering too much in San Antonio. We haven't been covering the clashes and protesters, but there is a lot of ICE activity in San Antonio specifically. I mean, that's expected. That is near the border, so obviously there's going to be some sort of deportation task force within that area, but let us continue.
Charge. He's accused of inciting participants to members of the law enforcement community. Sue Kalberg has details from the affidavit for arrest.
After a Facebook post invited people to come here to San Pedro and Bassi for a peaceful protest, investigators say one man took his ire to the internet and threatened law enforcement with violence. The charge for George Hernandez is terroristic threats causing fear of serious bodily injury. The affidavit accused Hernandez of taking to the Facebook comments section to encourage people to get all their guns and start at law enforcement.
I mean, you couldn't get more black and white than that. How do you even defend, like, oh, I was just being emotional, I didn't mean it? That is literally so black and white. I want to take my firearms and take out ICE agents, okay? So this is some pretty bad stuff, but I just want to point out this is different from the first case. In the first case, there was a verbal admission, allegedly. In this case, we've seen this before, it was written on social media. And when I first started covering ICE agents or Homeland Security operations throughout the United States, one of the biggest critiques is that the Trump administration doesn't seem to be taking any online threats serious. They don't seem to be taking the TikTokers serious who are following Homeland Security agents. Nope, we are in a new era. It looks like all of these social media posts and actions, they're starting to catch up with people, and people are legitimately being held in jail or going to prison.
To the Facebook comments section to encourage people to get all their guns and start at law enforcement. The victims in the complaint are listed as a substantial group of the public because so many people saw the post. The affidavit goes on to allege that numerous people were so concerned about the fear of violence, they reported the comments to police.
Right down the street from here.
Shame! Shame! The protest, which happened Monday evening, went down peacefully. Bond conditions for Hernandez include partial house arrest, random drug and alcohol testing, no guns, and no use of any social media platform. Bond for Hernandez is set at $35,000. At last check, he was still detained. His first hearing on the matter isn't until January.
And we will be keeping up to date with this case as well. And unfortunately, when we look at the statistics, there's probably going to be a lot more cases just like this. It just so happens that Homeland Security is finally starting to catch up with these cases, or at least have some sort of system where people can report it straight to Homeland Security, and they're taking it very serious. Because again, when I first started covering this stuff, and I've gotten messages from law enforcement professionals, they even said, all of this takes time. You can't just look at a Facebook post and then assume that's it, everything is wrong. They have to build a case. So a lot of this is starting to roll over, and people are starting to get caught up with the things they've been saying and doing on social media. So you do have a voice. You can report the things you're seeing, and if you deem that this is a threat towards Homeland Security, report it, and they'll look into it. Now, I do want to point out, as far as operations in San Antonio, this is quite literally to try and disrupt Tren de Aragua. So here we have protesters who are protesting ICE agents who are quite literally trying to make San Antonio safer, and now we have somebody who's trying to threaten using his Facebook post and threaten to use firearms in order to cause harm to these agents who are trying to help the community. So I'm just trying to give you guys the full context. I was really digging into this story, and I couldn't find what exactly they were upset with, because over the weekend, when you look into the context, 140 people were taken into ICE custody, and a lot of them had criminal charges. And look, without the context of why you're protesting ICE agents and you just keep saying these are masked criminals who are trying to disrupt the migrant communities, of course we're going to see people who also make blanket statements and say, well, I want to cause harm to ICE agents. But this time, somebody actually got caught up for it, and they have been arrested, and they're probably going to be in some big trouble. But let's continue to the next case, where somebody actually pled guilty to this same charge.
Affidavit details allegations the North Carolina native called the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department last week, told officers he's a veteran, and then threatened to kill ICE agents and CMPD officers if immigration-related arrests continue.
And of course, as we know, Operation Charlotte's Web is currently underway in North Carolina. Now, to be clear, the story we're talking about right now does not have to do with Operation Charlotte's Web, but I'm still trying to show you guys there were still credible threats even back in May.
The document includes Thomas's alleged threat to come to Charlotte with body armor, ammunition, and night vision devices to kill law enforcement officers if he saw them making ICE arrests along Albemarle Road. He allegedly threatened to shoot them all if he saw any more arrests happen, and that he would Swiss cheese the officers.
It doesn't get as bad as this. In the other social media posts, which are also bad, a lot of times they're very vague threats, which is why there is such a long process to try and make sure the threat is credible and legitimate. I mean, it doesn't get more credible than this. I will Swiss cheese their you-know-what, I will use firearms, and I will use night vision goggles. Leave your comments down below how you feel about this.
Investigators believe he was referencing the May 12th ICE arrests on Albemarle Road near a CMS campus.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
I tried calling the number investigators say Thomas used to contact CMPD, but was sent to voicemail. The affidavit explains additional threats, including claims Thomas had explosives around his house, saying, "If you feel like getting a warrant for anything I've said today, I hope it's worth somebody's life."
Yeah, it's pretty bad stuff. But again, like I said before, more and more people are starting to get in trouble for things they said in the past. And this looks like it all occurred back in May, but now, today, November 20th, man pleads guilty to threatening to murder federal agents. And to be honest with you, there's basically no way I could see him getting out of what he said and how he acted. So of course, it's probably best for him to just plead guilty and not fight the charges. But it doesn't end there. I think everyone knows by now the ICE ambush that occurred in Texas and Kash Patel. The FBI actually designated some of these people as Antifa members, a member of a terror organization. Well, 5 of them actually pled guilty.
5 people pled guilty in federal court to charges related to an ambush at a North Texas ICE detention facility. It happened at the Prairieland Detention Center in Alvarado on the 4th of July.
Again, May to July, we keep seeing the cases that happened back then. Now everything is starting to catch up. That is the common theme we keep seeing. So for those of you who are upset and you're like, there's not enough justice being done, we're seeing the threats, they're saying the threats, well, now it's starting to happen.
A group of people wearing all black clothing, fireworks at the center, and slashed the tires of a facility van. An Alvarado police officer called to the scene survived being in the neck. The 5 people in court today pleaded guilty to a single charge each of providing material support to terrorists in connection to the incident.
And look, that's a best case scenario for them, to not be called the terror members, but they're helping the terror members. Again, I'm sure that's the best they're going to get out of this case, and they're also going to be in trouble.
Their sentencing is set for March 12th. They face up to 15 years in federal prison. Last week, 9 others accused of being involved in the altercation were indicted on federal charges in that same case.
As Antifa members. Now, this was a very bad case, and I think this was the official wake-up call that people are actually trying to do harm to ICE agents, and let's be honest, they did do harm. And here's the thing, at this time in context back in July, we saw a lot of clashing, a lot of pushback, we saw violence, but nothing on this level. Ever since this day or night, this is where Homeland Security said, we need to take this very serious, and there are people who are out there who are willing to risk their lives to end our lives.
We're here to tell you that late at night on July 4th, Friday night at approximately 10:37 p.m. at the Prairieland ICE Detention Center in Alvarado, Texas, 10 to 12 individuals dressed in black military-style clothing began fireworks and engaging in acts of vandalism at the facility. And this was part of an organized attack. Today, my office has charged 10 individuals with 3 counts of attempted murder of a federal officer. Each of the 10 are also charged with 3 counts of discharging a firearm in relation to a crime of violence. Each of these defendants faces a mandatory prison term of 10 years and up to life in prison. An additional co-conspirator was charged with obstruction of justice and conspiracy for attempting to conceal and destroy evidence in relation to the attack.
Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video or enjoyed it as much as you could, because this is some pretty disgusting stuff, and I do hope we can find a way to come together and have a peaceful dialogue, because we need that right now. As far as the 2 people you see on the screen, the assistant high school principal and his brother, I don't have all the information on this case. It's a brand new case, and I do want to get some more info on it. I didn't want to make 5 different videos. I figured let's just put it all together and whoever wants to watch it can watch it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure we please pray for peace because we do need that right now. And again, we hope that more violence doesn't happen, but when you look at the statistics, it's just probably going to happen. Statistically speaking, we are up to a 1,000+% increase on attacks on Homeland Security agents. That includes ICE agents, that includes Border Patrol. So we need to pray it doesn't keep happening. Thank you guys so much for being here. God bless, and we'll see you all later.